Once upon a time, in a quiet little village nestled between rolling hills and a sparkling river, there lived an old woman. She was known throughout the village for her kindness, her wisdom, and her ever-present smile. No matter the season, whether the sun blazed hot in the summer or the snow blanketed the ground in winter, she was always cheerful. The villagers adored her and often came to her with their troubles, seeking her advice or simply her comforting presence. One day, a young man from the village approached her. He had been watching her for years, marveling at her constant joy. "Why are you always happy?" he asked, his voice tinged with both curiosity and frustration. "No matter what happens, you never seem sad. Don't you ever feel bad when things go wrong?" The old woman smiled gently, her eyes crinkling at the corners. "My dear," she said, "life is like the river that flows through our village. Some days it's calm and peaceful, other days it's wild and unpredictable, but the water keeps moving, and so must we. Happiness doesn't come from what happens around us. It comes from within." The young man frowned, still confused. "But how can you be happy when bad things happen? How do you not let them break you?" The old woman gestured for him to sit beside her on the wooden bench outside her cottage. "Let me tell you a story," she said, her voice soft but steady. "The story of loss and renewal. When I was young," she began, "I had a family, a loving husband, and 2 beautiful children. We weren't rich, but we had enough. We were happy. Then one winter, my husband fell ill. We didn't have much money, and medicine was expensive. We tried everything, but—" Her voice wavered for a moment, and she looked down at her hands. "He passed away. It was the darkest time of my life. I cried until I thought I had no tears left. I felt like the sun would never shine again." The young man listened intently, his earlier frustration replaced by empathy. "But," the old woman continued, "after some time, I realized something. My sadness wouldn't bring him back. My children needed me, and I needed to find a way to live again, not just for them, but for myself. I started to see life differently. I understood that life is a mix of joy and sorrow, and I decided I wouldn't let the sorrow steal my happiness." The morning ritual. The young man leaned forward. "But how did you do that? How did you find happiness again?" The old woman's smile returned, warm and reassuring. "Every morning when I wake up, I tell myself, today is a new day, and I will find something to be happy about. Some days, it's easy. The sun is shining, the birds are singing, or a flower blooms in my garden. Other days, it's harder. But even on the hardest days, I find something, even if it's just the warmth of a cup of tea or the sound of a friend's voice." She paused, her gaze drifting to the horizon. "Happiness is a choice, my dear. You can choose to focus on the bad things and let them weigh you down, or you can choose to find the good things and let them lift you up. It's not always easy, but it's always possible." The lesson of the river. The young man sat quietly, absorbing her words. "But what if something really bad happens?" he asked. "Something that feels like it will break you?" The old woman nodded, as if she had been expecting the question. "When the storms come, and they will, I remind myself that nothing lasts forever. The river may flood, but it always returns to its calm state. The same is true for life. The bad times will pass. And while I wait for the storm to end, I focus on what I still have: my health, my friends, the beauty of nature, or even the simple fact that I'm alive. Gratitude, my dear, is the key to happiness." A village transformed. The young man thanked the old woman and left her cottage, her words echoing in his mind. From that day on, he began to practice what she had taught him. When things went wrong, he looked for the good. When life felt heavy, he reminded himself that the storm would pass. Slowly but surely, he noticed a change, not just in himself, but in the way he saw the world. Word of the old woman's wisdom spread throughout the village. More and more people began to adopt her outlook, finding joy in the small things and strength in the face of adversity. The village, once filled with worry and strife, became a place of laughter, resilience, and hope. The secret to true happiness. And so, the old woman's legacy lived on, not in grand monuments or vast riches, but in the hearts of the people she had touched. She had shown them that happiness isn't about what you have or what happens to you. It's about how you choose to see life. It's about finding light in the darkest moments and holding on to hope when the world feels heavy. As the years passed, the villagers often gathered outside her cottage, sharing stories and laughter under the shade of the old oak tree.